Hey, Alan here from RVAcrossAmerica.net. It is in the morning of November 3rd, 2018. Ignore the time date stamp on the video. That's from my dash cam, and I fixed that. And this is the longest day for me, and also the last day that I'll be pulling my trailer for the next several months. And that's because I am traveling from just west of Boise. You saw in that first clip heading eastbound on I-84 just east of Boise. I got up in the pre-dawn hours and had some new tires put on the truck in Boise, and then it's about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm heading east and just getting off and exit off I-84 in Mountain Home area because my GPS advised me that I-84 was closed about 134 miles up ahead. That said, it put me on a detour, which actually probably is a little bit shorter, and it's going to take me on to US 20 and US 26. And I want to share this with you. This is about a 12-minute video. I'm condensing a 6-hour drive into about 12 minutes, and I am, well, let's say in a rush because winter is coming. It's only November 3rd, but there's a winter storm watch up for the Jackson Hole and Star Valley area, and I wanted to make sure that I got ahead of that. So as you head eastbound on US 20, which is a nice drive in itself, it's north of I-84, it crosses Idaho. It's absolutely spectacular. By the way, you can find the full story along with some other commentary on my website, RVAcrossAmerica.net, and we'll call this /winter is coming. No dashes, no spaces, nothing, just winter is coming. Anyway, as you head east on US 20, the first thing that caught my eye is you begin to climb. So the terrain becomes more mountainous. The signs were actually pointing me towards Sun Valley, and I think I got within about 30 miles of Ketchum. That's the town Sun Valley is in. Before I continued east as the turnoff goes to the north, and I'll point out where that occurs a little bit further up in this video. So traveling across Idaho is really nice. It's very remote. There's on this route there was very little traffic, very few people passing me. I don't generally drive that fast, although today I did go a little faster, and I need to share with you one of the reasons I was in Oregon, and I spent 2 months in Washington and Oregon, and I'm going to have a whole series of posts coming up on Washington and Oregon. It is spectacular. It is beautiful. There's a lot to do, and I will be back because I didn't do it all. I did spend a week in La Grande. That's where the factory for Outdoors RV is, and my trailer was in for some service. And as I've alluded to in some of my earlier videos and posts, there were a couple of things that needed to get addressed. A couple of them were very minor, a couple of them were not so minor. They all come down to human error. And I want to emphasize that no trailer manufacturer is perfect. They can design and engineer the greatest thing in the world, and I think that the Outdoors RV and frankly the Arctic Fox products are really well designed and engineered. They're priced right, they're very competitive, but when it comes to somebody on the assembly line making a mistake, and there were 2 mistakes made on mine, the roof was not applied properly. My bet is the adhesive was put down and allowed to cure too long before the rubber roof was put on it, and the roof was loose. So to the credit of the folks who are in service at Outdoors RV, they made it right. And I can't ask any more, and I wouldn't expect any less. But there was no hassle with it. There was no charge with it. They redid the roof, and that went right down to the decking because that's what was needed. And that was the judgment of the service manager and service writer in Outdoors RV. And, you know, I would think anyone with a similar situation would be treated the same way. I also had some hairline cracks in one of the slide-out sidewalls, and they did not extend into the fiberglass. They were strictly in a clear coat. It was probably because the sidewall was bolted on a little too tight. Again, human error. And again, they made it right. There was no question about it. Well done. And I am still, if anything, more of a believer in outdoors RV, because being in the industry, I know how some other manufacturers are a nightmare to deal with, not only in getting a warranty repair done, but in getting a warranty repair approved. So as I explain this, we're driving along 20 and 26, and you're seeing me get higher and higher. You actually get to about 5,500 feet before you begin to decline somewhat. This is now the turnoff for Sun Valley. That sign we just passed shows Sun Valley off to the left, and I'm going to stop at a Four Corners, wave to Sun Valley off to the left. The Sawtooths are just to my north, and now I'm proceeding east towards the towns of Arco, Idaho Falls, and then into the, if I'm correct, Swan Valley. There's a Swan Valley and there's a Star Valley in the same general area, and I think it's the Swan Valley that you hit coming from Idaho Falls. So the blinker, we go forward, and we're still working our way east. Heading towards the town of Arco, there's a decent diner in the town of Arco I recommend. Arco is near the research facility, Idaho University research facility on atomic energy. Arco, interestingly, wants to be the first fully atomically powered town in the United States. So we're continuing across. You also pass through Craters of the Moon National Park or National Recreation Area. I'm not sure. I think that's what this video section is. Showing some of the strange landforms. Looks like it's a lot of topsoil got turned up. Looks like a lot of craters. Anyway, I might be wrong on what we're passing by right now, but you do pass by that on 20 and 26. You can see off in the distance there's some snow-capped hills. That's beginning to get towards the Wasatch. I don't think we're looking at the Wasatch itself, but we're getting off in that general direction. By the way, the camper is looking great. The roof job was outstanding. The sidewall is totally fixed. A couple other minor things were addressed. But I'm totally satisfied. And now this video is all leading us to the Jackson, Hoback Junction area, which is where I'll be spending the winter, and ideally ski instructing in this general area. We're now alongside the reservoir. I believe it's called the Palisades. You're east of Idaho Falls, and this is you're going to go through the Idaho-Wyoming border. At the moment, by the way, Wyoming has better fuel prices than Idaho, but they're both relatively expensive states for fuel. This is absolutely gorgeous here. There's you can see snow caps, snow on the hills as you approach, and you'll notice that the clouds are getting a little lower and thicker. I had mentioned earlier there was a winter storm watch up for the night of November 3, and clearly it's looking a little more threatening. Temperatures all the way across we're in the low to mid 40s. And it just felt like when I grew up in Jersey, like it was right around Thanksgiving, and you have that first storm of the season coming in. You really don't know how bad it's going to be, and whether it's going to be snow, rain, or something in between. This storm ended up being something in between, but then since then we've had several inches of snow even here in the valley, and the mountains are doing great. They're not open yet. I'm recording this obviously a few days after November 3rd, but again, the snow just keeps piling up and piling up, especially on the hills, which is where I prefer it. Right outside my door, I've got a couple inches of melting snow at the moment, and it's supposed to be just a little bit milder as we approach next week, but not warm enough to really melt stuff too badly off the mountains. And I know that Tarhee is looking, which is just on the west side of Jackson, over you drive through Idaho and then back into Wyoming to get there, and Tarhee is looking at opening on the 16th of November. So that's kind of exciting. Again, this is the region just south and west of Hoback Junction and Jackson. It's absolutely gorgeous, mountainous area. The roads are great for RV travel. This entire stretch was absolutely fine for a 35-foot RV. At no point did I feel like I was white knuckling it or nervous about anything. It felt like an easy drive, and fortunately it was dry and no problems, no snow, no ice, no patches on the road. Headed northbound now, I believe, up into the Hoback Junction and Jackson area. Again, looking threatening. And again, you'll see as you look higher and higher on the hills, sugar coating of snow. It's really picturesque in this area. Sirius has already switched over to Christmas music, and I kind of got into the mood and put on some Christmas tunes as I was driving across Idaho. Don't try to do 400-mile days very often. This is real close to a 400-mile day, but it needed to be done in the unlikely event or in the possible event of the winter storm actually happening. Early in November, generally when snow falls, it's going to melt fairly quickly, especially on the roads, but you just never know. If it comes down hard enough, well, then you're looking at something different. Again, this can be found on rvacrossamerica.net/winter is coming, and I've got a few other things I'll share with you over there that are relevant. You know, there's always something else over on the website. Again, beautiful travel through the canyon. This is headed north from Alpine, which you don't really go through, but you travel just north of, again, heading up towards Hoback Junction. And the last, half a minute or so is going to kind of show where I am staying for the winter. I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere, maybe about 10 miles outside of Jackson. There's only a market right across the street. There is bus travel that I can use should I decide to make use of the mass transit rather than take my truck back and forth. But my camper is now skirted. It's safely put away for the winter, and I'm in it, of course. It's not really away. This is a look from the parking lot of the market across the street from the RV park. The RV park is towards your front left. By the way, if you go to the upper right corner of the video, that's how you can get over to my post. There should be a link there very easily to get to it. Or again, just rvacrossamerica.net/winter is coming. In a moment, we're going to be moving the truck and the trailer right across the street, and you'll see where it is I'm at. This is not a super picturesque campground. In fact, it's for long-termers only. I'll be in here for half a year. Or a little less, realistically. But most of these people have committed to a one-year lease. Turning into the park, you'll notice how heavily some of these campers are kind of buttoned up for the winter. But you'll also notice what kind of campers they are. So they kind of need to be heavily buttoned up, some of them. This outdoors RV has 2-inch thick walls, solid foam insulation, triple layer of insulation above and below. So yeah, obviously I'm going to prepare, but not necessarily to that degree. Anyway, ran out of video, so this is Alan. Have a great day, and look for me over at rvacrossamerica.net. Take care. Bye-bye.